Hey, welcome to day 3 of our Holy Week devotional. This is a time right now as a church, all ages and stages, families. What are we doing? Well, we're preparing our hearts for Easter weekend. And we're so excited to gather together as a church. What we're doing each night is we're watching these devotionals and then we're asking the question together, okay, tomorrow, what are we going to fast from and for how long? And the two options that we've given you, of course, there's more than two, but the two options we've given you are screens and food. Screens and food. And so we're talking about this each night. Hey, what are we going to fast from and for how long? And as you fast from screens, maybe that's social media, maybe that's Netflix, it's hard, it's difficult. And when you fast from food, that's hard, that is difficult. And yet this is a really powerful thing. Before I get into the part of the Lord's Prayer that we're going to look at tonight, I just want to talk just for a couple more minutes about fasting. The reason I want to talk about this is because this is one of the practices of Jesus. When you look at the life of Jesus and when you look truly at the life of the heroes of our faith, you'll find that they were men and women that practiced fasting on a very regular basis. In fact, John Wesley, maybe you've heard of him before. He's one of the heroes of my faith for sure. This is something that he talked about all the time. This is what he writes this quote: "I fear that there are now thousands of Methodists who have entirely left off fasting. They are so far from fasting twice a week, they do not even fast twice a month." To which at first pass, we're like, wait, what? Twice a week? Twice a month? In fact, John Wesley would not ordain pastors if they didn't fast twice a week. And we kind of scratch our head like, wait, people really do that? Another quote on fasting is this from St. Basil. This is from AD 330. "Fasting is a safeguard for the soul, a steadfast companion for the body, a weapon for the brave, and a discipline for champions. Fasting repels temptations, anoints for godliness. She is a companion for sobriety, the crafter of a sound mind. In wars, she fights bravely. In peace, she teaches tranquility." And when you begin to study fasting and the history of fasting in the church and in the days of Jesus, you'll find that this isn't a minor theme. It's a major theme. It's not a minor thing they did. It's a major thing that they did. And so Jesus, when he said to his disciples, hey, when you fast, meaning he's assuming that you and I are fasting. And maybe you're a professional faster. I'm not. And so this is a very powerful thing for me. It's hitting me hard because I'm like, man, truthfully, this is a practice I have not been practicing. And might there be more of God for you and I to experience by practicing the practice of fasting? And so right now, as a church, we're doing this during Holy Week. And so fasting is such a powerful thing. It's something we see all throughout the Bible. It's something that we see in the life of Jesus. And Jesus fully assumed that you and I would be fasting. And more recent heroes of the faith like John Wesley, I mean, this was such an expectation that men and women of the faith that are fully devoted to God, fasting is just going to be a regular rhythm of their life. And so no matter where you are on fasting, some of you might be advanced fasters. I'm more of a beginner faster. No matter where you're at in fasting, I'm excited because you and I are learning something really powerful about who God is when you and I choose to give up things to connect with him in a deeper way. And so this is why you and I fast. Pastor John Mark Comer has written a lot about this and has a lot of great resources on fasting. And he says there's really 4 reasons why we fast. Offering ourselves to Jesus, that's what we're doing. To grow in holiness, that's what we're doing. To amplify your prayers, or to stand with the poor in solidarity. So there's many powerful reasons why you and I fast. And what I know is this week during Holy Week, each night as we're thinking about the next day, okay, what am I going to fast from and for how long? You and I are experiencing the power of fasting. It really affects us in a deep way. Now, let's get to the words that we're going to study and think on tonight. When Jesus says this in the Lord's Prayer, "Give us this day our daily bread." You see, it's hard to even talk about this phrase in the prayer of the Lord's Prayer without talking about fasting. And so it's just a perfect fit. When you and I are thinking deeply on the words of Jesus, when he said, hey, when you pray, pray like this, that you and I would be reminded that each day is the day that God is saying, live in. That this is the day that the Lord has made. The psalmist writes, rejoice and be glad where? In it. And so for me, a lot of the stress, a lot of the worry, a lot of the fear that I feel, it's because I'm not living in the day. It's because I'm living in the tomorrow or the next month or the next year. And so Jesus says, hey, give us this day our daily bread. And so in two different ways, he's emphasizing where disciples are meant to live, which is in the now, here, today. Of course, we should plan, we should be wise for what's coming. But Jesus is saying, when you pray, be reminded that you are looking to your Father in heaven to meet your daily needs. And so this is what we're doing. We're asking for daily bread. We're asking that God would meet our needs. A couple thoughts on this when I think about these words of Jesus is when I'm thinking about bread, I get excited because I love bread. If you know me, you know that I love bread. I really do. And Jesus is saying, hey, ask him for what you need, daily bread. And bread is symbolic for a lot of different things in our life and certainly within the Word of God. And when the disciples are hearing these words of Jesus, they're thinking about all kinds of different things when they hear the word bread. Recently, I taught on this, how they thought of manna, but also they're thinking about what Jesus said himself, that man doesn't live on bread alone, but from every word that comes from the mouth of God. Jesus said that on his fast. As he began his ministry, he went into a 40-day fast. And this is what Jesus knew, and this is what he wants us to know, that when you and I are giving up bread, actual bread, we can be sustained by God himself. Bread. Couple things about bread. This is resource, and this is relationship. Two things. When we're thinking about bread, that you and I would ask God for the resources that we need today. So tomorrow, when you're fasting from something and for however long you choose to fast, what resources can God meet himself in the absence of whatever it is that you're giving up? And so when we uproot something, that's like fasting, we're looking to God to fill in that gap, right? So when we give up food or we give up a screen, now all of a sudden something's missing. There's a gap. We are now looking to God to be the bread to fill in that gap. God, be my resource right now. As I have created room and I've given up, at least for a little bit, some bread and some screens, some food and some digital different things that we're so drawn to. God, I'm asking that you would fill that gap. God, would you be my resource? And secondly, God, would you help me connect with you relationally in a deeper way? And this is one of the reasons fasting is so powerful, is because when we feel those hunger pains or when we reach for our phone or tablet and we're like, oh, yeah, I gave up screens for at least a day or for a little bit, we're reminded that we need the relationship of God to meet us in that time of need. I know for me, when I fast, and yes, I'm a beginner, but I'm working at really developing a rhythm of this, giving up food on a regular basis, I feel those hunger pains because I love to eat and I eat a lot. And when I feel those hunger pains, I'm reminded of the resource I need, but also the relationship that can sustain me. And so tomorrow and the rest of this week, when you feel the absence of whatever that might be, food or social media, whatever that might be, we're reminded of the words of Jesus. We're going to start again with our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. We're going to think about his kingdom, but then we're going to move towards asking for what we need. When? Today, this day. What do we need? Resource, and we also need relationship. That's what we have for day 3. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4.